Hello guys, Crispy here. Welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing the GT730, which is already struggling here in the desktop. As you can probably tell, it's stuttering a little bit, the mouse movement at least. So this is the 2GB DDR3 version. I overclocked it just a little bit, plus 70 MHz on the core, plus 110 MHz on the memory. We're gonna be testing Rust, of course. I'm running a Ryzen 7 3700X with 16 gigs of RAM. You don't need these specs to not bottleneck a GT730. That's quite an easy thing to not do. And yeah, just keep in mind that this game, it's a ton of RAM. It's already eating 10.5 gigabytes of RAM here, so yeah, that's quite a lot, guys. I'm gonna be testing it at 1080p, 900p, 720p, possibly lower than that. I'm not sure yet how it's gonna perform at 720p, so we'll see. And maybe I'll just mess around with the settings a little bit after we're done with testing the resolutions, because yeah, the game looks quite bad over here. So at 1080p and minimum settings, as you can see, we're already getting quite low FPS here. Wait a second. No, alright, it's still quite low, but it's not 11 FPS, so I'm happy to see that. Let's start counting our averages and 1% lows. Now, this is a new server, a modded server, in fact, and I have picked up a few things here and there, not with the 730, but I have been playing a little bit of Rust, okay? Don't blame me. The game is actually great to play and a ton of fun if you know what you're doing, and mostly I don't know what I'm doing, and I still have fun with it, so that tells you something, I think. And you know what's gonna tell you something as well? Me, because this is absolutely not playable, and you should never play Rust at 1080p with the GT730. At least, like, not with the DDR3 versions. God damn it, guys. Just look at these threes, you know, it looks like complete vomit, and I hate this, but yeah, this is just how it looks at the minimum settings. But you know what, I'm glad that the game can be turned down this much, because yeah, that means that it supports more graphics cards. You can actually play with really low-end specs this game. I remember back in like 2014 it was actually playable, or 2012 or 13, I'm not sure, back when the game launched and didn't really receive the experimental update and the graphics overall, you know. But yeah, back then it did actually run at like 30 FPS with the GT210. I don't remember the settings, but I remember seeing a video of it. So yeah, that's quite impressive, you know. And yeah, I'm just glad that they actually thought of the lower end gamers, and yeah, they allow people to run the game like this, because let's be frank here, the game has no textures, right? It has no textures like this. Avoid 1080p gaming, well, like in every single game, I will say, with the GT730. It's not really meant for gaming, let alone at 1080p. So, alright, dropping it down to 900p actually puts us above 20 FPS. Really look at that. Now, this is much more playable, obviously. I would still say that it's not quite a good experience, but oh, we're reaching 30s even when not looking at the trees. But yeah, that's why I'm testing it right here, because it's kind of one of the most demanding areas, I would say. Like, forests are really intensive usually in games, and Rust is one of those games. So yeah, whenever you are close to forests and trees and stuff like that, it's gonna run pretty bad. But yeah, okay, it's still doing a decent job here. Let's check this guy over here. I think I looted him already. Yep, I did. Jesus Christ, just look at this. I got a ton of stuff out of people now. Oh my gosh, what should I do with it? Right, guys, we're still seeing 30 FPS sometimes here. Of course, everything still looks like crap, and I wouldn't really play like this, maybe, unless we can't really play at 30 plus FPS at 720p with some graphics that are better than these. Yeah, I'm not too sure if that's gonna happen. Maybe we will get like 30 FPS average at 720p, but we'll see, of course. That's what I'm expecting at least. And okay, so yeah, that's been it for 900p, I guess. So we got 25 FPS on average, 15 FPS, 1% lows, probably because of this. This actually lowers your 1% lows by quite a bit. I'm just gonna get some cactus here. Because why? Oh my gosh, of course I did that. Why wouldn't I do? You know, that's one of the disadvantage of the low FPS. You really are a little bit limited in your movement, because see that? If I had 60 plus FPS, I wouldn't hit that cactus. Alright, we got some spikes here. We got another guy here just sleeping. I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, we're not gonna say his name in this video, so this isn't too bad. I would say if you are used to like 20 something FPS, it's playable. Yeah, let's go ahead and hide in these trees and change it to 720p. So let's do this. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at 1280 by 720 with the lowest settings in the game, obviously. Yeah, what are you expecting? Is it GT 730? I'm very curious to see how the 710 will perform, and look at that, guys. We're getting like 35 plus FPS around here, so that's pretty damn decent. I think that we should be getting like 30 plus FPS around those trees over there. So yeah, at least like around 30, you know, 28 plus maybe. Look at these shadows. Like seriously, Rust developers, you should work on this at least. Like epilepsy is a real thing, and I'm not joking right now, because that could actually trigger it. I'm not too sure about what I'm saying because I don't know much about the subject, but still, that didn't look too good to me. At least like give a warning at the beginning of the game or something. Oh my gosh, just look at this. This is insanely trippy, okay? So we're getting like 42 FPS right now. Okay, 32 now. Alright, so we just dropped 10 FPS by coming from there to here. It's still above 30 FPS all of the time. Our 1% lows are at 29, but I didn't really see it drop that much, you know? Sometimes the 1% lows do that. Stuttering is absolutely no issue, at least here with these specs. Of course, you shouldn't really pair a Ryzen 7 3700X with a 730, but I think something like an i3 second gen, third gen maybe. I think the game isn't really too demanding on the CPU, so you might get away with something like a i3 2100, but you really need like 12 gigs of RAM. 12 gigs of RAM is like the sweet spot for Rust. Of course, if you have more of it, the better, you know. And DDR3 is cheap nowadays, so you can actually grab like a stick of 8 gigabytes for what, like 15 bucks, I think, maybe. At least like DDR4 is pretty damn cheap, brand new, so yeah, DDR3 should be cheap as well. And if you have like an i3 2100, again, you'll need DDR3 to play this game. So if you're buying this game for like what, 7-8 bucks when it's on sale for the GT 730, just grab a stick of RAM, you know. If you have 8 gigabytes, just grab a 4 gigabyte stick of RAM for like 5 bucks and you should be good to go. If you do already have 12 gigabytes of RAM, well, you're fine. You can buy this game and have a blast playing it with the GT 730. It's absolutely playable here at 720p. Of course, just don't play at 1080p or 900p. You're not gonna get like 30 plus FPS. And you know what, guys? This is absolutely a great result for the 730. I wasn't expecting it. I just wish the 710 will run like this. Or not, because the 710 is funny when it doesn't really run the games well. I'm gonna be taking a look at the 710 this Saturday, by the way, so keep tuned in for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. And okay, I just went into the menu and our 1% lows just got messed up. They were at 29 though, so 38 FPS average and 29 FPS 1% lows. That's pretty decent for the GT 730. Definitely better than what I was expecting. The game is quite a bit demanding, but not at these settings, of course. So okay, that said, I'm just gonna put the shader level here to 300 because you actually can see quite a bit of a difference when it's at 300 compared to the lowest. So now everything has textures except for my pants and my axe a little bit, you know, but the world has textures on it. That's pretty good to see. Of course, the trees still look pretty bad here, but I really can't find the setting that like increases the tree resolution here. I was messing around with that earlier with the GTX 1650 when I had it installed here in my PC. This one and the tree quality didn't really change, you know. I'm just gonna set it to the highest as you can see, it's still the same. Everything still looks like vomit. I don't know what that setting does. Maybe it only does anything if you actually put this to like a higher setting. I think draw distance, that's another thing that should help with the vomit trees, but it doesn't, as you can see. And now we're below 30 FPS here at 720p, so I don't like that. Okay, I don't like that to be on the maximum. Like 500 is decent. Maybe it's this one. Okay, I'm just gonna do like 6 just to see if this is the setting that does it. Oh, it just crashed. That's very unfortunate. Okay guys, we're back here and the graphic quality is actually set to the 6 right now. Okay, graphics quality here 6. Okay, everything looks pretty decent right now, to be honest. Like, the textures look way better than they did. The trees, especially the trees, got a huge bump in graphical fidelity, but we're getting sub 30 FPS and pretty, like, 20 right now. Oh, 19. Jesus, we gotta drop to 12 there. I'm not sure why. Just look at our RAM usage right now. 14 gigabytes of RAM being utilized here with these settings. So yeah, that's a no-go, guys. I'm just gonna set it maybe to 3 just to see if the trees look decent. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Thank you very, very much, Rust. I love you. Okay, everything's still the same, by the way. I didn't change anything else, of course. They kind of look like vomit still, but it's not that bad as low settings, you know? So yeah, we're still below 30 FPS, so I would still not play like this, but I'm just gonna count our FPS here just to see how many we can get here, averages in 1% lows wise, of course. Yeah, if you can and if you have the option to play it at 30 plus FPS all of the time, I say just take it and just have fun playing it. You know, the mechanics of the game are still there, the gameplay is still there. I'm gonna die. Okay, hello, how are you doing? 29 FPS on average, 23 FPS 1% lows. I lowered the settings here. We're at the lowest settings possible right now. I'm just gonna respawn. Yes, not revive, respawn. 720p lowest settings is probably what I would pick to play this game with the 730 DDR3 if you have the GDDR5 version, and check that out if you haven't already, because that's a much better card, you know. The card is the same, but the memory makes a ton of a difference, and you can actually get like 15, 25, even like 40% more FPS sometimes, you know, in some games. I'm not sure about Rust, of course, because I don't have a GDDR5 model, but okay. It's playable with this GPU, and that's what matters here for me. Oh my gosh, radiation poisoning. No, please, please, no. Don't poison me, radiation. I didn't do anything to you. It was the other boys. The bad government that, like, did it to the world, and the nuclear war, and what the heck am I talking about? Okay, let's just lower our resolution. Oh my gosh, you can actually lower your resolution by quite a bit here, guys. That's insane. That's good. I am gonna do this one, 720 by 480. Oh my god, look at that. That's a very smooth experience with the 730. I was certainly not expecting this. I'm gonna start counting our FPS average and 1% lows. That's amazing. You know, if you want to play at 60 plus FPS, you can actually do so with the 730. Wow, this is awesome. You can't really see where you're like heading, but it's okay. It's playable, guys. It's awesome. Okay, I wasn't expecting it. I'm gonna die with your radiation. I want to get to another tree area, to forest area, to test this game at this resolution. This is not bad. This is quite good, actually. Radiation poisoning. This is so good. Yummy. I'm just eating all of that radiation, guys. It feels good. It tastes awesome. I am just running through here. There's nuclear reactors around here, just like Chernobyl or whatever. 54 FPS, 1% lows. This is very smooth, I gotta tell you guys. Even here, there's like a ton of stuff around us, and it feels smooth because, of course, it's still at 60 plus FPS. So that's very, very nice to see. I was really not expecting this, and this gives me so much hope for the GT710, guys. I think it's gonna be playable. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, taking a look at the GT730 DDR3 in Rust. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I love you all. Bye bye.